You got me to thinking about a couple of years ago. I went to India, and I had to go to the health department and get some vaccines that I had
Sure.
never had. The only time I'd had some of those vaccines was when I was in the Air Force, and I was going to be shipped off to the Middle East. And it's like, now you're going to get these special vaccines, and
Yeah.
it's like, okay, so does so what that comes down to is, like you said, it's the lifestyle and the exposure. A person who lives in one place and never travels to a country that has certain diseases that maybe have been eradicated in the US, for example, they don't
Sure.
need those vaccines. But a person who's going to be traveling and being in those different parts of the world might need those. So that, the same goes for your pets. And I'm assuming it's even within the US, since a good chunk of our listeners are here. It's regional to a certain degree.
Oh,
Would,
sure.
or is
Yeah.
that not true?
No, it's absolutely true, and so part of it's regional. So, like for example, if you have a dog and you live in New England, you're probably going to want to vaccinate your dog for Lyme.
Right.
And while here in the San Francisco Bay Area we do have Lyme, it is not anywhere close to the prevalence that it is in, say, New England, and we don't really vaccinate dogs for Lyme because it's very, very uncommon. And not only is
Right.
it geographic, but it's also a lifestyle thing. I think a great example for dogs is a Bordetella vaccine, so the vaccine for kennel cough. That is a
Hmm.
vaccine that I never recommend unless a dog is going someplace that requires it. So if they're going to boarding, if they're going to daycare, and grooming, and the facility requires it, then fine, we'll give it. Otherwise, it's just not a vaccine that I give. The bottom line is Bordetella as a disease is not that bad. It's kind of like if you or I were going to get a chest cold, you're probably going to cough for a week or two and then you're going to get better. Big deal. Does
Right.
that mean I'm going to go out and get vaccinated for that? No, it doesn't.
Right. Right. Yeah, that's a good point. And I know, one of the things that I think is important too for people to have these conversations with your veterinarian. When it comes around to that annual thing and you get that postcard or now that email that says Gunny is due for these things. If you don't know what they are and what they're supposed to be preventing, and you haven't had a conversation with your vet to say, yeah, she's had that for 6 years and she's now 6 years old. Do we still need to keep giving that? What does that do? Here are the things that we do. We either go to a dog park or we don't go to a dog park. Or for us, part of the conversation is we do bring unvaccinated animals right off the street into our. I mean, we try to keep them
Sure.
isolated, but my dogs might be and my cats might be at slightly higher risk than your average person for catching things that other people's pets might not catch. So have those conversations with your vet, and educate yourself about what's being put into your pet, just like with the food.
Yeah, I totally agree.